Hi, my name is Kunbi Osinoiki. I'm a music educator and I operate a studio out of Lagos in Nigeria. This is my story. I first started taking piano lessons when I was about 5 years old. I grew up in a musical household in the sense of my mum was always singing and my father had music playing in the background, usually classical music, whenever he worked. My father played the guitar a little bit and he enjoyed that, but I wouldn't call him a virtuoso by any stretch of the imagination, and my mother doesn't play any instrument at all. However, they felt it was important that we grew up learning to play an instrument, and I started piano lessons, as I say, when I was 5. By the time I was about 10, 11, 12, we started to hold concerts at home. And my father would invite his friends and family over, and we would stand in the parlor and we would deliver our pieces and, singing, playing the recorder, playing the piano, that kind of a thing. Um, and we carried on like that, carried on taking music exams and progressing as musicians until I hit about age 16. And at that stage, I quit. I told my teacher I wasn't interested anymore. Thankfully, at the same time, I was taking the SS SS exams, for university entrance exams, and so I had a lot on my plate, and I was able to use this as an excuse not to continue with my music studies at the time. Now, the real reason why I quit was because I had stopped enjoying my lessons. They were very hard, and I didn't mind the fact that they were hard. I'm not afraid of hard work, but I wanted a little bit of sugar coating around it. I wanted to be able to learn to play music that was I could hear all around me in popular culture, music that I enjoyed listening to, music that my mates were listening to, and this was frowned upon. My teacher felt that I needed to stick with purely exam style repertoire, everything that was preparing me to sit these international music exams, and didn't want to deviate from that at all. And out of frustration and boredom, really, I decided actually, no, I'm not doing this anymore until I quit. Fast forward a few years later, as a young pregnant mom, I come across an article in Time magazine, which was entitled How a Child's Brain Develops. And this was a fascinating study into how early years are so important in the development of neural pathways in children's brains. And here was I with baby in my tummy thinking, my goodness, how do I harness this for my child? And at the time, I had a very successful career in IT, and there was just no way that I could, get involved in music clubs and sort of take up or action some of the activities that that they were suggesting in that article. And then a few years later, an opportunity came for me to change course, which I jumped upon with both hands, and I signed up as a music educator with a music company in the UK. And I started to deliver music lessons. So my background in music, the all the exams I had taken as a child, and also my education as an economist and my MBA meant that I was a perfect fit for this particular opportunity that came up. And so I went down this path thinking, finally, I'm going to be able to do something musically with my child. I thought I was only going to do it for a few years, but I was hooked. And I just worked with so many amazing families in that part of the world. Some of them I was involved in running music sessions for all the children. And I would be in the lessons, and mommy would come to baby number one, baby number two in the tummy. Baby number two was born. Baby number one went off to school. Baby number two was born. Would join my classes as soon as they were old enough. Then baby number three came along, and I just carried on, working with families and seeing the impact that this program was having on young lives. And then about 10, just around 10 years after I first started doing this in the UK, I started to feel the need to introduce the same sort of opportunities to children in Nigeria. And so that's how the transition began. And in 2016, I started operating Kunbi's Music Company, starting off with our early years music program and then rapidly developing that further to providing fun but sound music training opportunities for children and adults right across the spectrum. And today we now operate a studio where we run different programs for adults and for children. The early years is still very much close to my heart. It is where I started from, and we are now looking to grow into providing a blended model of tuition where some of our material is available online, and we also buttress that with in-person coaching, whether that happens over the internet or as and when the pandemic dies down in people's homes. So I would really like you to consider looking at introducing your child to music because it is important. It is so important. Learning an instrument isn't an easy, it isn't for the faint-hearted. And the number of people that think that it's a cop out and that it is less challenging or less rigorous than maybe doing the sciences, they know nothing about what it entails. For you to get to the heights that you see so many musicians out there, it doesn't come easy. It takes hours and hours and hours and hours of work. A lot of the music exams are certainly for beginners. They're maybe about 20 minutes long, if that, 10 minutes, some of them, but it can take over a year to get ready to deliver that 10 minutes of assessment. That is just how rigorous it is. And learning music means that your children get an opportunity from early on, right from early on, to begin to practice the skills that they need for life. Okay, so they're learning resilience because they're trying something and it's not coming easy to them, and they have to keep trying and keep trying and keep trying until they overcome. Initially, it looks like, am I ever going to be able to play this piece of music? And then you kind of get the satisfaction of overcoming the challenges, and it gets easier and easier and easier over time. And so I think it's amazing, just all the different life skills that you learn from music. And I think every child should have an opportunity to learn an instrument. Um, Certainly, a lot of the Western cultures are built on music being mandatory. You didn't have a choice. You had to learn something. You had to learn to play something because of all the added benefits that you get from learning to study an instrument. So I'd like to wish you all a very, very happy Children's Day. I think children everywhere should have an opportunity to sing, to play an instrument, to study music. It's not good enough just to be able to, um, you know, um, mimic somebody else's music. You need to be able to create your own. You need to be able to put down your ideas in a way that other people can pick it off the shelf and learn themselves from what you have done. So we are very big on music literacy, and yes, it is. It is. It's great that everybody naturally speaks music. Everybody's naturally, most of us able to sing, and make music that way. However, not many of us are literate in that we cannot write down music. And what we want to do is give a balance. Is to produce musicians that are conversant verbally in music, but also are literate in that they can communicate their ideas in a written form. Thank you very much. And we hope that you will choose to give your children the gift of music education. It's a gift